Morning, everyone. We're just waiting for a few other people trying to get in. Make sure you got your cup of tea with you. We've got ours. Be with you shortly. Okay. Morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Colpin. I'm the customer service manager here at FENSA. Welcome to the first morning tea and talk with FENSA. It's one of many webinars we're going to have each month. It will be on the fourth Tuesday of every month. So keep that time free. Don't necessarily have to watch, but listen. There is always going to be some good information in there. Webinar should last around 30 minutes. Please, if you got any questions, just put them in chat or the Q&A section of Zoom here. We'll try and answer them. We can't answer any specific questions on specific cases in this forum, but do put your question in the chat and we will take it up outside of the forum. So we will find a solution for you to answer those questions. Who are we? I'm sure you know who we are. We're the biggest competent person scheme in the glazing industry. Got over 15 million registered installations, and your tool to access us is the FENSA Online, www.fensaonline.com. Today, we're going to talk about the segments we've got within the webinar is tip of the month. We're going to talk about when to register your installations. Sounds simple, but good tips here. FENSA benefit of the month. We're going to talk about the FENSA Recycling, what to do if, we're going to talk about if your company details change. And we've got Tech Talk with Daryl and a Q&A section at the end. Any questions to the segments whilst we're doing them, we will cover them within those segments if we can catch them quick enough. And Daryl's helping me out with that. So do write the questions in there and we'll get to them shortly. So let's see what we've got for tip of the month. Yeah, tip of the month. Don't register your work too early. Sounds quite simple. You are aware that the jobs need to be registered with us within 21 days of completion, but completion means it is complete and compliant. So don't register your work until it is complete and compliant. It will save you money and frustration. Remember, when you're registering it with us, you are declaring that it's complete and compliant. Sorry, I'm going to run this complete and compliant, drill this into you guys for a while, but it is really important to understand. Wait until other contractors are doing work if your installation's compliant has been affected. So this is where you're doing a job. There's other contractors you have, there is on site doing other works. A really good example of this is the rendering. You might complete your work, but you haven't been able to seal it off because someone's going to come in and do some rendering. Not a problem. You might have completed your work, but it's still not compliant. So it's not complete and compliant. So don't register it with us. Wait until they finish their work. Let your customer know why you are delaying the registration of the installation. They will call you or they'll call us asking for their FENSA certificate if you don't mention why you're registering the job. Don't let the customer pressure you. Quite often they think because you're finishing the job, they'll put pressure on you because they need that FENSA certificate. Tell them why. And it might also push them to speak to the contractor to finish that work a little sooner. What we recommend is you go and check that installation before registering it with us. We know it's just a 5-minute check. Go back to see and make sure that those contractors haven't done anything to affect your job. Could be that you need to go back and just finish the ceiling after they've done their work. But it's important that you're confident that it is compliant at the time you register it with it. And the only way to do that really is to go and check for yourself. That 21 days period that I was talking about, some people panic and they say they just register it because they don't want it to go over and above that 21 days. That 21-day period doesn't even start until it's fully compliant. So remember, complete and compliant. So that 21 days is very much wait till it is compliant, which means you've gone and checked it, done any other bits and pieces that you've done that you needed to do. That's when you'd go and register it, and that's when the 21 days notification period starts. This is what could happen, and I don't want to put the fear factor into you. We know businesses, a business, they're there to make money. We don't want to take your money away unnecessary, and you can avoid this yourself. If the other contractors, they could be damaging or messing with your installation, which could make your previously compliant work now non-compliant. So go and check it. If your job gets picked up for assessment, it could lead to a failure if they have messed it and made your job non-compliant. So again, make sure all works are complete before you register the job with us. That way you're confident no other works are going to ruin your installation. Pretty much if you go and register it early, you are throwing away money. It can be avoided. Just hold on and wait till you register that job once you're complete. Once the installation's registered with us, you can't unregister it. It's with us, so we will deal with it. So it is your responsibility to ensure it's compliant to building regulations. See, they've got a question there. Yeah, good point, Daryl. Put the information in your contract. Very much, yeah, we can definitely all this information, but talking to your customer is number one. Let them know. We know a lot of customers don't read fine print. So having that conversation with the customer, backing it up with it being in your contract is a really good tip there. Our benefit of the month, each month we're going to talk about a specific benefit that is a benefit for you guys, all FENSA approved installers. This month we're going to talk about FENSA Recycling. It is across England, Wales and Scotland that this is available. When we first launched it, only about 5 months ago, I believe, it was not England, Wales and Scotland, but it has been so popular, expanded quite quickly. It is free collection of deglazed UPVC frames from site, shop, plant. It can be from anywhere. You just deglaze it, put the frames in a skip or in a corner, and they'll come and collect it. So far, we've collected over 200 tons to date. Really great way, and our contribution to net zero. That's over 50 tons a month we're getting at the moment. And that's just going to increase as more people start using the FENSA recycling. 80% of the recycled UPVC goes back into the industry. The other 20% goes into other building products like decking, boards, trickle vents. I swear I wasn't going to say that this webinar, but that's where some of the recycled UPVC goes into as well. So it is going back into industry with other building products as well. Don't spend any money hiring skips. This is the perfect way and the way you can save money and how it benefits you. If you are hiring a skip, I believe that the average cost is around 300 to have a skip just delivered and picked up. That's 300 you're saving automatically. Recycling is free. They will pick it up for free. So that is a really good way of you saving money. Nothing on the slide here, but I'm really happy to say any day now we'll be launching recycling for aluminium. So watch your emails, make sure we got your correct details, and yeah, you will be able to get that as well for recycling. The end of each year, you will be given a certificate. If you're using FENSA Recycling, you'll be given a certificate of how much you've recycled throughout the year. really good tool that for you to show your customers. It shows you care as a company, that you are recycling, you are practicing saving the environment. Homeowners like that. So you will get a certificate, will have your name on it. So it's specific to you, not just across the board. And it talks about your contribution to recycling. How do you get involved with this? On the FENSA installer portal, if you go to the FENSA benefits in the menu on the left-hand side, you'll see an icon like we've got on the screen. Click on the icon, fill in the form. They will contact you once you've filled in the form. They'll have a chat with you. Alternatively, you can contact them directly. There's a phone number and email address. You can contact them directly. They will, when you're talking to them, they will actually provide you with options to suit your situation. So if your situation requires pickup from a depot, not a problem. Regular pickups once a month, twice a month, or a one-off at a particular site. You might be doing a job at a particular site that requires pickup of several frames. There is a question there from Nigel. Thanks for that. Recycled toughened glass too. It is, I won't say it's come, we are looking into it. It is very much on our radar. That is our next step that we'll be looking into. There is barriers that we have to get over with the way glass is treated with toughened. I believe we're close to it, but I couldn't tell you a time period, but we are looking into that for you too, Nigel. So yeah, again, I'm just going to say again, it's free. Save your money, and contact FENSA Recycling through the installer portal, or contact one of those emails or the phone number there. What to do if your company details are changing. This seems quite minor, but as a FENSA member, you are required to ensure that we've got your correct details for several reasons. We want to get important information to you, of course, but also too, your information is being given to consumers. It's actually part of our license that we display your information. So please be correct on information that we're displaying. So how can you do it? If any of your information changes, your address, your phone number, even website, if any of it's changing, let us know. You can let us know just by the installer portal. There's in the notice section on the homepage, fill in a really quick form and we'll change those details within 48 hours for you. There is also options there for us to pass those changes onto other group companies. Save you making phone calls to other group companies where you're changing your details, such as Install Shore or the GGF if you're a trade member there. But that information, just let us know what those changes are and we'll keep it up to date for you. If your entity is changing, so you might be a sole trader and you're changing to a limited company or vice versa, it happens. It's slightly different, a little bit more administration. We do need supporting documents for this change because it is a legal entity change that we're dealing with in the system. So there will be supporting documents that you need to complete and a really short form, and we can go from there. If you are changing entities, you need to make sure that your employer's liability, public liability, IBG, or your consumer facing documents, all those are up to date. If that is up to date, you're going well. It will be a really quick process. Send it through to us and we can update our system as well. That's it for that segment. Next segment, I'm going to hand over to Daryl. It is Tech Talk. And like I said, I'm avoiding trickle vents for obvious reasons. We've heard so much about it. It doesn't mean if you have any questions about it, you can't ask. We are here to guide you. So feel free to ask. But today we're going to be talking about approved document C. Daryl, I'll hand it over to yourself.
Thank you. Hi guys, my name's Daryl Williams. I'm the former technical certification manager. I'm now the key account manager
at FENSA, which means I've got a foot in the door with the GGF. So this is not part of it, but if any of you do feel that you want to talk about maybe becoming a GGF member, a dual FENSA GGF member, come and see me afterwards, or send me an email or something. Okay, document C, moisture penetration. This is one of the few regulations that hasn't changed since we started back in 2002. Some of the things you could foul on, obviously poor sealing. It could be that the frames are not set too far in the reveal. It could be the drainage has not been put in correctly, or even you've not put the seal. You've not set it too far out because water can track back into the property. Typically, our main problem is just silly sort of quality sort of ish stuff, like just not sealing the product correctly. But look, I do the stats for FENSA, and in the last few years, document C, Celia's, has been the biggest foul code that we've experienced since I think about 2016. It's taken over safety glass, which is not a bad thing. So it means that more our stores understand the safety aspects, but they're falling down on sort of the minor documents. But I suppose you've got to have one document that's going to be the biggest failure. But if we're going to have one, this is not a bad one to have. However, they can be very expensive for you. You know, just have a minor failure like this. You know, if you have multiple fails on sealing, you know, we will come and do a manual reinspection on you. You know, that will cost £160. And if it's only just for one minor window, one minor sealing issue, we may get away with a remote one, which will cost you £80 a year. £80 inspection, I do apologise. But, you know, it's voids under seals. You know, if foam is visible and packs are visible, you will fail. And the really frustrating thing for me when I was signing off these inspections is that I see a whole house full of windows, and it'd be one window in one room that's just not been completed. So as you said, it's voids under seals. It's funny enough, Rachel was talking about registering it before it's complete, and by not rendering, typically our installers our inspectors would see that you'd finished the installation. Because he could still, the foam and packers are still visible, he'd have to fail you. And I was dealing with some very sort of upset installers saying, you know, I've completed it, they've paid me and all that. But the fact is, you've got to look at the compliance aspect of it as well. Again, others, things like end of seals between the frame and seal, another common, rather than ignorance to regulations, I just think the guys are rushing. Okay, so, but one of the biggest fail aspects I see all the time is doors. Now, I hear things like, you know, oh, we put it on a bed of silicone, you know, but the fact is, when I see the inspection pictures, I can see our inspector ram a ruler up that door sill by over 40 mil. So my recommendation is, where possible, try and get a front sliver of silicone on the front edge. Doesn't matter how messy it is, it's typically hidden by the sill that overhangs. Or if you can't do that, you can get this expanding tape now. Just get a thick bit of that, and it will just fill everything, and it will stop that ruler being going on, and will stop water penetrating the property. But again, it's in the old days, we'd get a foul like this and we'd say, well, we'd override it on the pretense they give us a statement to say that they're going to do the work. But unfortunately, it's become quite a pandemic for us. It's such a time consuming. We've taken the viewpoint that, you know, we're not going to be doing that anymore because it's a lot of work for us. So we now do remote inspection. So, but my top tip here is, you know, if you've got, you know, if it's yourself or you've got several teams, is yes, get the guys to check everything and perhaps have a little mini report. I mean, if you guys do a little checklist that your guys have to do before they leave site, you know, is everything sealed? And, you know, is safety glazing clearly marked where in all critical locations? If we inspect that, you reduce your chance of failing inspection by over 50%. Just that quick 5-minute check. So recommend you do that. Next. Okay, here's some pictures from one of our old technical presentations we've done. Just some of the classic things we've seen. Well, I must admit, these is over a number of years, and we don't really show these much, but these are ones where you can fail, you know, before you enter the front gate. Some of the things we see, and you know, I'm clearly sure you all agree that none of that is acceptable these days. I tend to see more just niggly one-offs and all that. I very rarely see where it's been poorly done all over the property. One of the ones we've probably not mentioned on this one, I see a lot of where you're dealing with where there's horns and all that, and you've had to sort of put render around there. You'd be amazed how many times we've found reinspection, because but by the time we've done it and we've arranged a reinspection, the render has broken down again. So, you know, if you have got one like that, you really do sort of want to make sure that the render's done properly. It's not on a wet day. I know it's tough, you've got another job around the corner, but again, it's one that I see on the increase where some of the rendering is pretty poor and the mortar's all broken down. So next.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, that's just a basic
diagram, sort of how the bedding insulation, where the DPC and the sealant for the pointed bedding. So it's something I'm sure you've all seen many, many times, but you'd be surprised how often we don't see that. But, you know, a couple of things also I'd recommend, you know, if you've got several fitting teams, and I know a lot of the larger companies do, if they've signed a form off to say that they've left site and it's all sealed and all correct, is that if it does fail for that minor scenario, then a lot of the larger installers I do know say they send their guys around again and they don't pay them for that. It's their responsibility to go back and rectify, because that will cost your business a fee for a reinspection where they've actually signed it off and you've actually registered, made a legal declaration of compliance on the strength of that note they've given you. So next. Okay, thank you very much. Just, you know, if there's any questions, I'll try and answer them as best I can. Thank you very much.
If there's any questions at all, even if it's not relating to anything just talked about in the webinar here, feel free to ask, and we're here to help and answer any of those questions. Just another webinar that happens quite regularly that may not be useful for you, but could be someone within your business, is every Thursday, second Thursday of the month, we have a Fresh with FENSA. This is a webinar that helps people that are either new to FENSA or new administrators, or people just wanting a refresher as to how the administration side of FENSA, navigation around the portal, all of that sort of thing. So watch out for that. That seminar or that webinar will be the second Tuesday of August. But this next one is the next one is the fourth Tuesday of next month. I'm trying to find the date. It's not working. So too technical for me. So yeah, keep an eye out for your emails. Make sure we've got your correct contact details. If they need changing, simply go into that form. But that is the webinar for our first morning tea and talk. I hope it's been useful. Feel free to send in some tips, anything you want to hear in any future webinars. We're happy to help and guide you and make FENSA. It's useful now, but we can make it more useful if we know exactly what your questions.
I'm also happy to talk about trickle vents.
Thank you very much. Take care, everybody.